Welcome back to another video, and it's official. Donald Trump has won the 2024 US presidential election. This is honestly historic given the circumstances and events that have taken place over the past several months. Not only have Republicans won the White House, but they've also won the Senate and the House of Representatives in what some people are calling the red wave. I think even countries in Europe and Asia have also been following this election closely, which is just insane to even think that essentially the entire world was watching this. That goes to show just the sheer gravity of this election and what this meant for the world. Now naturally this is a very hectic time for everyone, but I want to point out just how embarrassing this is for the Democratic Party. Someone who got dragged through court for various crimes, almost got thrown in jail, they tried to bankrupt him, and he survived assassination attempts, and still managed to pull off a win. Now, I want to quickly break down a couple things I believe led up to this. First thing I want to talk about is the celebrity endorsements. Kamala's campaign was rolling out every celebrity they could get their hands on, like it's actually insane. From Beyonce to Taylor Swift to Jennifer Lopez to LeBron James and tons more. All of them came out to pledge support and to tell people to vote for her. And guess what? All of that was for nothing, and I'll tell you why. You know what people see when a bunch of rich, out-of-touch singers, actors, and athletes get up on a stage and tell them who to vote for? They see people who they have nothing in common with, who don't care about them, who only want to serve their own interests, and who know nothing about actual politics. Because for fuck's sake, do you really think that LeBron James knows anything about the economy or foreign policy? And with all this Diddy stuff coming out, some of these celebrities used to associate with him and said nothing. Are we really supposed to trust what they have to say? But jokes aside, I am of the belief that anyone who bases their vote entirely on what a celebrity tells them should honestly not be participating in the voting process, because they have completely voluntarily forfeited their ability to think for themselves. The next thing I want to talk about is the media. Obviously, there was a lot of coverage about this stuff, but I'm not talking about the typical news outlets like CNN or NBC. I'm talking about podcast media. This is probably the first election where podcasts probably held more sway than the news outlets. These podcasts that Trump and his VP Vance had that racked up millions of views like Joe Rogan, Nelk Boys, and Flagrant, and Kamala just didn't take advantage of that either. And what this proves is that people are tired of the fakeness and just want some authenticity. I mean, think about it. A bunch of Ivy League graduate reporters, news anchors, and show hosts who think they're smarter than everyone else are telling them what they should be thinking, even though they have been caught lying and hiding things many times. Now compare that to a 2 to 3 hour long podcast where these guys just sit down and have a normal conversation, not just about politics, but about life, sports, hobbies. It's a lot more genuine, and us average people tend to enjoy that, just like how we also know when someone's being condescending and talking to us like we're stupid. People are tired of the suits and ties and just want authentic people representing them. Funny how these podcasts, especially Joe Rogan with Trump and Elon Musk, racked up tens of millions of views in such a short time, yet surprisingly they weren't on the trending page on YouTube. There's plenty of mediocre music videos from obscure artists up there that nobody's heard of, but not something like this. And people are seeing these things. The fact that the news and giant corporations have so obviously chosen a side, that they don't see a reason to trust these previously believed to be unbiased information outlets and instead gravitate to something more personable and relatable. People don't care about what LeBron James or J-Lo have to say anymore. Contrary to popular belief, the average citizen is not some rich celebrity or a Harvard graduate. They're ordinary people that want to be taken care of by the people they elect. Now, I want to pivot to a couple of initial reactions I found while looking online. First to this one right here. Now, this is from the New York Times subreddit, and it says, "To those who voted for Trump, fuck off. Fuck all the way off to the edge of the planet, and fuck off even more when you get to he edge of the solar system. Keep fucking off when you get to the end of the Milky Way. Continue to fuck off until the end of time. You just killed our country." Honestly, a pretty relaxed response for the New York Times. Reddit is honestly one of the best places to look for reactions. Here's another one of a girl crying with the text saying, "Being a woman is feeling defeat over and over and I'm sick of it. I just want to feel safe." Pretty dramatic, I have to say, and I think this is part of the problem, is that people just love to fearmonger, saying things like, "Oh, democracy is finished," We're going to become a fascist state, like they even know what the word fascist means. Making things out to be like we're in Armageddon. They did the same shit in 2016, and guess what? We're still here. And we can't forget about the comments, just absolutely brutal. But yeah, I think this marks the turning point where people are just done with the lies, they're done being told what to think, and if they don't, then they're an istinophobe, which, like I said in the previous video, name-calling and slandering the people you rely on to succeed is not a very good strategy to get them on your side. I think people just want authenticity at the end of the day and someone who actually helps them instead of just saying how much they want to help them. Now, obviously, we have to wait and see what happens. It's not like things are going to drastically improve overnight. We still need to hold our leaders accountable. And yeah, that's going to do it for the video. I'm going to go fuck off, and I'll see you in the next one. And one thing I wanted to add is that now the Democratic voters are taking to social media and just absolutely lambasting anyone and everyone. Just trying to assign blame to someone for them losing the election. They're blaming Latino and black voters, saying shit like they turned on their own people, which is kind of wild given the fact that this is coming from the party that claims to be super tolerant, inclusive, and sympathetic to marginalized communities. They're blaming women, they're calling people uneducated as if everyone who voted for Trump are those stereotypical rednecks on their farms who didn't go to school. They're saying they don't care about Gaza and the Palestinian people anymore as sort of a way to trash the Arab and Muslim American voters, because they did play a big role in Trump winning Michigan, which again is pretty insane. Just goes to show how quickly some of these guys can switch up right after losing an election, and just perpetuating this doom and gloom mentality, acting like they just gave Thanos the Infinity Stones. There's people, especially in California, who are saying they're gonna leave the country and move to Canada or something, and honestly, they say this every time. They said this in 2016. If you feel like you need to leave the country because you don't like who the next president is, then go right ahead. I'll even help you pack. And this reaction was quite predictable. With every election, half the population is going to be pissed at the outcome anyway. But that doesn't mean that everyone has to be against each other. We should still try to find common ground and not demonize each other just because we have differing opinions. At the end of the day, the Democrats just didn't have it this time. It's not the end of the world. It really isn't. Stop making it out to be like it is. We'll be okay.